Sound too good to be true? Absolutely not. There are literally thousands of videos on YouTube telling you how you can smash the interview, the right interview questions, but what good are all those videos if you don't even get offered one? Well, there's 2 essential steps to getting yours. So preparation is key, and doing preparation will give you a competitive, positive advantage. I'm going to repeat that. Doing it well will give you a competitive advantage. Most people don't do this. The preparation is a campaign of tasks that can't be skipped. If you do, your competition will have done the preparation, and guess what? They're the ones that will get offered the interviews and taking your job in the process. So here we go. The resume, or in pounds and pence, the CV or curriculum vitae. It's Latin, we like Latin over here. And did you know that it means course of life? Who knew? Anyway, the resume. Do you think it's a record of your employment history? Wrong. Wrong, at least in this context. In this context, your resume is a sales document and the key that's going to unlock the job interview for you. You are selling you, and you're using your employment history as the vehicle to showcase your best qualities, experience, qualifications, and education. And here comes the first rule. When it's finished, completely finished, it can't be any longer than 2 pages. So let's keep that 2-page rule in mind for now, but now we're going to work through some of the attributes of the resume. What would you expect to see, or should I say, what would employers or recruiters expect to see on the resume when they receive it? Now don't worry about taking notes at this stage, because I'm kind, I've dropped a template in the description just for you. And if you would like and subscribe because of that, that would be fantastic. So let's get into it. Contact information. And let me be clear, this is your name and surname. If you've got 3, 4, 5 or more middle names, do not put them on a CV. An email address, and that's a sensible email address, not the one when you're a kid, 13 years old, getting your first email account with Bebo. A phone number and a LinkedIn profile if you have one. Again, another rule, no other social media handles. Unless of course you're applying to a social media company, and then they may expect to see your handles so they can check out your profiles. But as a rule, we don't want to see your TikTok handle, your Instagram handle, or your X handle. Next comes the profile statement. And look, the gloves are off here because this is 100% selling. You've got to sell yourself really quickly in 2 to 3 sentences. Recruiters and hiring managers are really time poor, and they may have to sift through hundreds and hundreds of CVs just to get down to a shortlist of the top 20 or maybe even top 10. So you've got to be punchy, succinct, and get your points across fast. And this is a lot more difficult than it seems. So here's an example of what not to do. Here we've got Captain America. I'm vegan, thrill-seeking dad of 4 beautiful children ages 4, 8, 12, and 13. Looking to expand my horizons and give back. I've worked in HR for over 20 years, dealing with some really difficult cases. I've got a really flexible schedule because my amazing ex-partner looks after our kids at the drop of a hat. Born to ride, I love riding my motorcycle to relax and believe that the universe will give us everything we need. Hashtag proud dad. I mean, where do we start with that? But let's get it down to 2 to 3 punchy sentences. Let's see how this reads. Diligent HR specialist with a keen attention to detail, supporting senior leadership teams for over 20 years, ensuring legal HR compliance, seeking new challenging role in a small to medium-sized organisation that will enable me to support my team and mentor the next generation of HR professionals. Look at that. Amazing. Do you not agree that that sounds a lot more punchy, a lot more professional? And if you're the hiring manager, out of those 2 statements, which one would you put in the bin and which one would you consider reading further through the CV and then consider an interview? Comments down below. Now of note, there's no mention of children, there's no mention of schedule, and there's no mention of motorcycles. It's just not relevant in this area of the resume. Next, key skills. So let's put this on screen. Now here is a really short summary of the key skills you've got that might make you the best fit for this job. And total pro tip here, look at the job description you're applying for and copy the language used. Like for example, if it says the ideal candidate will have an exceptional management ability, you probably want to insert management as one of your key skills and then a brief description of that ability. But note, you should also be able to demonstrate that through the rest of your employment history. No fibbing. Next, academic history. So all of those qualifications you've toiled over for years and years at high school, college, and then university. Here's where you can put a list of those amazing achievements you've achieved over the course of your academic life. Next, professional and relevant experience. Now this is getting into the meat of the resume. And here you're going to list all of the jobs in your employment history in reverse chronological order. So you're going to put the most recent role up first, up front. Now in there, I've always liked to put a statement of the job, really brief, 1 or 2 sentences, the key responsibilities you had, and then also underneath that, any achievements that you achieved during that time. And this is a real opportunity to put some numbers and metrics into selling yourself. Next, qualifications. Now reread the job description to make sure you've got the qualifications required for this job. It's similar to academia, but not. This is not where you put your PhDs in. It's where you put licenses. For example, if you're applying to be a bus driver, obviously the hiring manager is going to want to know that you've actually got the license required to drive a bus. Any certifications you have from courses that you may have attended or that are required for this role, this is where you'll list them. Next, professional associations and affiliations. This is slightly different to qualifications because in certain roles you need additional recognition from a body to be able to practice. Think about your doctors, your lawyers, your architects, roles like that where you're going to have to put a qualification or a professional affiliation to a body in order to practice that skill or trade. This is where it'll go. Next, interests. So now we're winding up the resume, and here's where you can put 1 to 2 sentences of the things that you are interested in or the activities you partake outside of the workplace. And don't take this for granted because it only takes one person on the panel that are interviewing you to be interested in the same thing, and then all of a sudden it turns an interview into a conversation, lowers the tone, and you can all relax. And let's face it, humans are tribal. We like to work with and play with people that are like us. It's completely natural. So we're almost done. Almost. This isn't your resume. This is a foundation document you've just created. And don't expect it to be 2 pages. That's not the idea right now. Right now it's about getting all the information on paper. So when the time comes for you to apply for that role that you want to apply for, that dream job, you've got all the information to hand with all the relevant dates, and you can quickly piece together the perfect resume to get you that interview. And total pro tip here, in fact, I say pro tip, it should be completely standard. Every single resume you submit to a job should be different. There's no, I've applied for 300 jobs this week. When you do that, you're just wasting your time because companies know that you're sending very generic resume or CV to them. They can see it a mile off. It doesn't feel personal, it doesn't feel special, and I've seen them and they go straight in the bin. I'll finish with just a few more points. So there may be industry specific things that you can put on your resume, and that could include things like presentations you've given, publications that you've done, or if you've done things like TED Talks. They can all go in and around the interest area. Now don't take my word for it. Recruiter of 20 years, Anthony McCormack, has summarized all of this information in his book, Job Search, Job Done. It's probably worth buying and keeping on your bookshelf because we're going to apply for jobs throughout our lives, and it's just a great reference point for a reminder for all the things that you need to do when undertaking that campaign of applying for a job. Now for ease, I've dropped a resume template copy in the description so you can take that, download it and do with it as you please. And if you could, a like and a subscribe would be absolutely tremendous. The YouTube algorithm loves that. That's step 1 done. But like I said, this is a 2-part process, and you can look forward to step 2, which is just here. And in that step, we're going to look at the next critical factor in landing your dream role: research.